Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates.
We are at the Bridge India's Ideas for India conference here in London, and with me is Pradyot Manikya, the only politician that has made all the way here to London from the northeast, holding the banner of all the 7 sisters of India right here. Tell us how important it is for us to talk about the northeast, and why has not the northeast been forgotten?
7 sisters, and you have to include Sikkim now, so that's the 8th state. The idea of coming to London was that this entire idea about India is largely restricted to the mainland, or at best it stops at Bengal. So it's very important for us, the indigenous people, the tribals of the northeast, also to come out and speak. Trade is only dealt largely in big cities or bigger states, and if we have to look at the possibilities of Britain investing in India, we should also look at the northeast. Chinese are not allowed to invest there. The Japanese have invested, but if you look at eastern boundaries, it's far more amiable. We are connected through Myanmar, we are connected with Bangladesh, we are connected with Bhutan, we are connected all the way till Thailand if you take the Stillwell road. So if Britain needs to come in, then they should definitely look at sustainable tourism, green energy, they should look at education, and they should definitely look at healthcare. The British had an influence in the northeast for a very long time, pre-independence, and even today most of the schools there which were open till Darjeeling have been actually opened up by the missionaries or the hospitals like the Welsh Mission, the Nazareth. So there is a connection, and that connection needs to now be expanded furthermore.
Absolutely, and you did mention healthcare and green tech. The UK has a huge focus in these areas. They're looking at these collaborative partnerships with India. Again, it could be government to government or companies to companies. What is it that you would expect the UK to contribute towards these sectors?
I think the UK needs to engage with government to government as well as to public. If they want to have a deeper root, then nothing like education and healthcare. That touches the lives. And if you look at the entire Northeast, we are very proficient in English, we are very proficient in the service sector, and that is where again the United Kingdom government should look at our youth as an avenue for further collaboration, whether it is in the service industry, whether it's in the nursing industry, and tourism. Tourism is something which the UK could also look at very strongly.
I'm quickly going to bring this issue of regulation, because this is very important in establishing any relationship. It's also a red flag that has been raised here. 8 states in the Northeast. How easy it would be to regulate or bring a sort of a uniform regulation between these states? Are there a lot of differences, or is it also a part where you see a uniform regulation?
Today, if someone is unwell in Tripura or in, let's say, Mizoram or Manipur, they end up going to Chennai, they end up going to Bangalore, they end up going to Delhi for treatment. So when it comes to healthcare, I don't think there will be any problem with regulations. We would welcome that. In terms of employment, many of our nurses they're not only from Kerala, they're also from Manipur, they're also from Nagaland, they're also from Tripura. And these nurses are actually very well trained in healthcare. So they could be employed even in United Kingdom. It would give them a better opportunity. So I don't see it as a problem. Education again, we are all proficient in English. We all welcome English language. In fact, our demand has been to have our mother tongue being written in the English language. Again, that also helps us if you all come in the education sector.
Yeah.
Anyway, all the best schools in Darjeeling, in Shillong, in parts of Assam, in Manipur, in Nagaland, were actually set up by the missionaries. Whether they were the Irish brothers, they were the Welsh mission, but they were set up by the British. So I don't see any resistance there as well.
I think
we want to learn the language.
Mostly a lack of communication
No,
or
I think
information that goes
I think
out.
what's happened is that when someone in London thinks about India, they think about Delhi, they think about Bangalore, they think about Mumbai.
Yeah.
They have to start thinking beyond that. And as an Indian, when I come to London, I don't want to only think about London. I want to go and check out what's happening in Stockport. I want to go and see what is happening in Leicester. I want to go and see what's happening in Surrey. There are Manchester, there are Liverpool, there are different aspects, Sheffield. So there are many things that I don't think England will grow if London grows. London will grow if the rest of England grows. And the same thing, if Northeast is left outside the growth of India, India itself will not grow so well.
Absolutely, and you've been trying to get the Northeast into the main discourse of the country. Fairly young party that you have. What are the prominent issues that you have on your agenda?
Our main agenda is the creation of Greater Tipraland. And now that Greater Tipraland is within the Constitution of India under Article 2, 3 and 4. And we are saying that until we are not given that demand, we will not go along with any political party. Why are we saying this? Because our existence is under threat. It is very important that we realize that our language, our identity, our culture is under threat. And no matter what development the government of India may promise us, they cannot protect our way of life, they cannot protect our language, they cannot protect our community. We have come only 30%. So until we are not given that constitutional protection, no amount of money, no amount of post will lure us away from our movement.
And I'm sure one of the biggest criticism to your demands is labeling you as a separatist, anti-national, thinking that you are trying to separate this state out of India, but that's not your intention at all. So how do you try and convince people that what you want to do is not break India, but create a bigger, larger, more flourishing country?
If America, which has a population of 1/3 of India's population, 1/4, and can have 51 states, why can't India have smaller states? The creation of Chhattisgarh was not anti-national. The creation of Uttarakhand was not anti-national. The creation of Telangana was not anti-national. So if someone like us in the Tripura are asking for Greater Tipraland, how can that be termed anti-national? You may be against the idea of a separate state. I agree, everybody has a view. But how can you call that movement anti-national? It could be against your sentiment, but you cannot call it anti-national. The problem is that for far too many years, they've made the tribal look like he is a violent person, or he or she is a violent person. A tribal is supposed to be a secessionist. A tribal cannot rationalize. A tribal cannot pick up an indigenous person. Whenever he raises a demand, it is always clubbed with violence or secessionism. Here is a democratically elected party asking for Greater Tipraland within the Article 2, 3, 4 of the Indian Constitution. If people have so much problem with that, then kindly amend the Constitution of India saying that this demand is allowed everywhere in India except for the state of Tripura. If till the time that is not there, I will keep on demanding this because the government of India, the Constitution of India gives me the provisions to demand for a creation of a smaller state.
And do you see any political allies for this movement across the country?
I have got support in my Jantar Mantar movement from political parties. I'm also hopeful that the government of India realizes that our demand will be something which can be, they should look at it from a security point of view. Tomorrow, Bangladesh has got a huge population of minorities, and post Sheikh Hasina, you may have a problem in Bangladesh, and when that happens, you will have scores of minorities from Bangladesh crossing over to different parts of Northeast. At that time, the government of India needs to have a policy. Otherwise, states like Tripura, Meghalaya, Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland will not be able to contain this inflow of people who are obviously insecure. And then you will create internal strife. So the government of India should actually have a refugee policy. But they cannot allow people to keep on coming from across the border and becoming chief ministers, becoming chief justices, becoming MLAs and ministers. Then you are finishing an entire community which was in existence for 1,000 years. You cannot do that. If you want to rehabilitate people, please do it in equal numbers across the country. But 1 or 2 states, especially with small population, cannot absorb this influx anymore.
The state might pitch the NRC CAA as the solution to this. What are your views on that?
Any identification of or law which actually discriminates people on the basis of religion is not acceptable to me. I have an NRC case in the Supreme Court. I have fought against CAA myself. It cannot be on the basis of religion. It has to be an illegal immigrant is an illegal immigrant, and if you want to rehabilitate them, please do so with the consent of the local population. It cannot be just because they belong to a certain religion, they will be rehabilitated. I think that is incorrect, and if the government of India wants to do something more to rehabilitate, especially the Hindu minorities from Bangladesh, they should do so in equal numbers across the country and not in small states where they have already taken in 3 times over its population, like in our case.
So this is criticism always exists that the Northeast does not get the platform to air its views. So I'm going to give you the last word here. Your message to the public on what you want, and this is reaching out across India. Take the platform and let them know what it is.
We are proud Indians. We are proud Indians. We have fought for our country. We have fought for a country when for decades there would be buns during Republic Day, during Independence Day. We have fought for our rights. We love our country. But the most important thing here is that if we demand something, kindly do not take it as anti-national. There have been elements which have actually picked up the gun and then made a demand, and the government of India has spoken to them. But to not speak to democratically elected people is a crime. We celebrate a democracy, so you should talk to people who are democratically elected. We love the idea of India. We are Indians. We are proud Indians. Make us, help us protect the boundaries of India. We'll do a far better job than anybody else, because we've lived in the land for centuries, and we'll do more to protect our land than any other forces which you may put there.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. This is Ruhi Khan in London for Mojo Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.